Hello, everybody. Welcome to our presentation. We are very happy that you have joined us for this presentation. It is amazing that we are able to present at this time about an important issue that impacts adult education. Our presentation focuses on implementing digital literacy for adult LESLA learners. Specifically, we will be examining the digital literacy framework and the accompanying implementation guide that has been designed for adult education instructors. The development of the framework and the instructor guide were a collaborative effort of instructors and educators and researchers, mainly from Maryland and also from Florida. So I am one of the presenters. My name is Andrea Lipka, and my colleague, my co-presenter is LypkaRehg. We worked at a community-based organization where we inherited face-to-face ESOL and citizenship classes. And when COVID hit, we were tasked to transform these classes to an online platform. So our presentation will be mainly about our experiences. Let's see what is on today's agenda. First, we will define digital literacy. Then we will explore the framework and the guide. And finally, we share, apply, adapt lesson activities in instructional context. And one type of activity that I will share is called digital storytelling. So let us define digital literacy. As you know, there are many different definitions, and sometimes those depend on your needs, the problem you are trying to solve, the context, the teaching context, and your learner needs. However, there are some common elements that need to be in place. So here is the definition that was used in the framework technology as a tool. So you can see on this slide that digital literacy is associated with adopting technology to find, evaluate, organize, create, and communicate information. And it is also associated with developing digital citizenship and the responsible use of technology. And why digital literacy? I show you in this slide two definitions. One reads as high-speed internet access and online skills are not only necessary for seeking, applying for, and getting today's job, but also to take advantage of the growing educational, civic, and healthcare advances spurred by broadband. The second definition is extending and improving digital competence is an essential component in the development of employable graduates. So you can see that how digital literacy factors into employment and educational, civic, and healthcare needs. My colleague Chi will explore the digital literacy framework and the instructor implementation guide. Chi, take it away.
Thank you. So now let's explore the digital literacy framework and the instructor implementation guide. The framework was developed by the Maryland Department of Labor's Adult Education in 2020. Its purpose is to provide definition, structure, and support to adult learners to help them enhance their digital literacy. And the framework also outlines 7 interconnected elements for adult learners to be digitally literate. And you can see the 7 elements in the pie chart below. And within the framework, practitioners can also find guidance questions, descriptions, and situational examples. The audiences of the framework are adult learners, instructors, and also administrators and staff. So this is the audio that describes the 7 elements by the authors. Unfortunately, because of the time limit, so we are not going to play the audio now. So you might want to listen to it at your convenience. Then the instructor implementation guide was developed to supplement the framework. The purpose of the guide is to provide instructors with practical examples of how the elements of the framework are implemented in classrooms. And the guide also provides instructors with additional online tools and resources to facilitate teaching and learning. There are 3 sections in the implementation guide. Part 1 consists of lesson activities, and each lesson activities has the elements such as the title, the learning objectives, the focus standards and competencies, the materials needed for teaching, the instruction, the extension activities, and the key observations. Part 2 includes curated resources, and part 3 is the appendix that provides supplemental handouts for the lesson activities found in part 1 of the guide. So how did we adapt the framework and the implementation guide in our program? So due to the pandemic, we had to convert the face-to-face class into the online class, and mobile-friendly learning in a community-based ESOL classrooms was our focus. And we also realized the benefits that the guide and the framework brought to the instructors and the learners. So we partnered with the Maryland Department of Labor's Adult Education to implement their materials. We decided to offer both synchronous and asynchronous classes using different learning management platforms. For example, we use Zoom for our live sessions, and then we use Google Classroom and Canvas for post-learning sessions, where students could review their lessons, do homework, submit their homework. We also included a variety of websites and applications to facilitate the student learning and to get them engaged. For example, we use WhatsApp, Quizlet, Google Forms, Google Lens, Learning Chocolate, and to help them to practice their language and also to improve their technology skills. Here is an example. So in this Google Classroom, students could get access to their lessons that they learn in the Zoom class, and they use Quizlet to review their vocabulary. Then they were asked to compose their writing and then submit assignments. And also the student could communicate with the teachers and their classmates, posting questions about the lessons or about the schedules. So there was really an intercommunication between the learners and the teachers and also between the learners. Another example is a Canvas class. So in this Canvas class, students were asked to do assignments where they could practice their vocabulary, reading, listening, and pronunciation, and also spelling. And by doing these activities, they could practice and also improve their technology skills. For example, they learn how to log in Canvas, how to get access to their lessons and their assignments, practice typing, recording, submitting their work. So teaching these classes was certainly challenging, but a lot of fun and rewarding when we could see that our learners make great progress in terms of language skills and also technology skills. And especially we could see how happy they were when they were able to do something in English and to do something with technologies that they couldn't do before. So now my colleague Andrea is going to talk about how we use digital storytelling in our classes. Andrea?
Thank you. So in the guidebook, you are going to find the lesson plan for digital storytelling. As you can see, the objectives are clearly listed. One objective is that learners will be able to create a multimedia project. And another objective is that they will participate in an activity that requires teamwork, problem solving, engagement. And another objective is that they will use digital media to communicate their lived experiences. Um, and another digital literacy skills requires them to locate resources for their topics by doing online research. And then along with the objectives, you are going to read about the competencies and the standards that digital storytelling meets or can meet. And you are welcome to explore these competencies and standards in the freely available PDF. We will share the PDF link. Feel free to use those resources. So in the next slide, I would like to, first of all, define digital storytelling, share resources and examples, and also discuss how you can use digital storytelling for deepening learning. And you can see the little circle that is so specific for the digital literacy framework, that basically digital storytelling takes advantage or uses all the skills that are required by the digital literacy framework. So it's a very, very engaging assignment that you can adopt into your classes. So let's define what digital storytelling is. It's basically everything. If you are incorporating audio, video, images, clips, musics, and written narratives and audio recorded narratives in a digital multimedia platform, that is considered a digital storytelling project. And it could be in a narrative format, it could be in documentary video format, it could be a lesson or tutorial about something. Many of those examples can also be digital storytelling projects. But you can see on this slide on how storytelling affects the brain. Forget about the digital aspects, but also how storytelling affects the brain. And we are going to include that link into our presentation so that you can click and see the many advantages storytelling offers for our students. So now here, let's talk about why digital storytelling. According to Barrett, digital storytelling blends 4 student-centered learning strategies. It enhances engagement. Reflection is a big part of digital storytelling. It is both project and process-based learning, and it also integrates technology. Robin also mentioned how digital storytelling can enhance emotional content, student voice, and it can also lead to extended motivation. Tendero used digital storytelling in professional identity development with pre-service teachers. I used digital storytelling with my LESLLA learners in 2018 to enhance language learning and literacy skills in authentic, personal, and meaningful contexts. And in a 2020 article, we used digital storytelling to enhance intercultural competence, multimodal literacy, and identity development with LESLLA learners and pre-service teachers in 2 different learning contexts. That was a lot of fun. And we also used technology to accomplish that task. And I am happy to share the PDF of that chapter if you are interested. Now, let's look at why digital storytelling. I would argue that digital storytelling is both flexible and inclusive. What do I mean by flexible? Students can use any available technology resources to edit and create their projects. I don't mention only one resource that they can use. I don't force them to use one video editing tool. I encourage them to teach each other, show each other the tools that they use, and decide on what is appropriate for them. And also it is flexible because I encourage students to decide on the topic and format. It is appropriate for all course levels. What I mean by that is, for instance, on a lower level course, you can encourage students to provide definitions in their mother tongue, or even integrate other languages that they speak in their English language digital storytelling project. And it is likely that the product outweighs the traditional presentations that we tend to have in our classes. And as I mentioned earlier, it is inclusive because it offers students choices and it respects their learning differences. So because of this, I believe that students can be more engaged and more likely to share different perspectives and different experiences. And these are the steps. So it has brainstorming, scripting, storyboarding, data collection, digitizing, sharing, and a reflection step. And I don't want you to think that these steps are in so prescriptive or in chronological order, but data collection can start along with brainstorming. Reflection can also start along with brainstorming. I typically ask the students to reflect at the beginning and in the middle of their digital storytelling project and toward the end. And I ask them, because at the beginning, perhaps they struggle with different issues, such as, I don't know, technology could be an issue, topic can be an issue. At the in the middle of the project, maybe teamwork could be an issue. And at the end, perhaps they might reflect on how they interacted with the audience, because you can tell the students to distribute their project on a class website or even on social media. And I typically ask the students to use Padlet for reflection, which again allows for multiple forms of expression. And then this slide shows the many websites and digital tools that you can use to create digital stories. For instance, voicethread.com, perhaps you can use that platform if you have a speaking and listening class, because VoiceThread is based primarily on the recording of certain students. Maybe that could be an interesting way to engage them. But there are other links, and feel free to explore the links on this slide. So now let's talk about the uses of digital storytelling. As I mentioned earlier, it's a student-centered learning project. Students collaborate from the beginning to the end, and you can have them collaborate to revise, reevaluate their projects, re-edit. So it is a recursive story creation process. And I mentioned the steps include scripting, storyboarding, digitizing, and sharing the content. And most of the time, students find it very useful and engaging, and they even share it with their family members because they are proud of their own work. And it has also real world learning and reflection. What do I mean by that? Students do research. Students might develop scripting, storytelling skills that could help them later on with finding a job, right? Because they have to write a resume. And also by integrating this reflection tool, I think it's really helpful for students to develop the ability to talk about their challenges and also talk about their success stories. And finally, as I mentioned, it could be integrated with pre-service teachers. For example, pre-service teachers can create instructional videos. So digital storytelling projects can range from self-narrative stories to instructional videos as well. And this slide contains examples of digital storytelling projects, and we do not have time to watch this, but feel free to explore these videos at your leisure, and feel free to ask us any questions you might have. And in closing, I want to end with this quote: everybody knows something about digital technology. Nobody knows everything there is to know about digital technology. We all have to learn. So what this means, and the example of the digital storytelling project shows that we are on this in this together. We learn together. I enjoyed learning from students how they edit their videos on their cell phones when I knew that I would not even dare to try to experiment. But my students taught me to explore and dare to explore and be willing to learn. So it was a grateful experience. And this is our thank you slide. We are thankful that you have listened to our presentation. This is our email. This is my email, Lipka, and my co-presenter's email is below. And feel free to ask us any questions. And the next slide is the selected references. Thank you very much.
Thank you.